Something strange is happening with the New York Rangers as they lose another must-win game. Some of the players they need the most have gone ghost, and we have no idea what the plan is for some of the younger players on this squad heading into the future. We're also going to break down some crazy comments from Coach Peter Laviolette and some of the defense corps in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do that, we have a very special announcement to make as it is that time of year. We're kicking off a March Madness bracket for the channel. We've partnered with the Hot Takes app and other Digest channels for this event. It's completely free to sign up. Just download the Hot Takes app, click the March Madness banner at the top, and under groups, select the Digest Media pool. This is really exciting as there's over $25,000 in prizes to be won, and since there's a much smaller pool of people participating, there's a real chance to win big. So check out the link below in the pinned comment or the description, or scan the QR code on your screen to download the app, and make sure to use promo code DIGEST. It is cap sensitive, so DIGEST in all caps to get some exclusive perks when signing up. The main event round starts on March 16th, and if you have any trouble signing in, there is an email in the description that you can email for help, and we'll get you some help to log in. Thank you again to Hot Takes for partnering with us on this incredible opportunity, and we look forward to seeing you all in the Digest Media pool for your March Madness bracket. Thank you once again to the Hot Takes app for partnering with us on this special opportunity, and we look forward to seeing everybody out there with their March Madness brackets. But let's get right into the video. Some weird stuff has been going on with the Rangers, some comments that do not match up with the play. We're going to break down the game yesterday as well, but first of all, have to do it. I have to do it. I do it every time it happens. Very classy from the Winnipeg Jets. They gave Sam Rosen a shout out on the Jumbotron, the video screen at the first TV timeout. I've been doing it every time we see it this year, throughout the year. Detroit did it, Toronto did it, a bunch of other teams. Sorry if I didn't mention your team. I'm pretty sure Ottawa did it as well. So I have to shout it out every time. Sam Rosen, an absolute legend. I have to say, sir, I'm so sorry that this team is doing this to you in your retirement year. But let's get into some of the reports, some of the stuff that's going on. Rangers fans at this point want Laviolette gone. And honestly, all season I've been thinking there's no way it happens. And earlier this season, I was like, there's just no chance they're going to fire him. But as we creep towards the end of this season, especially if this team does not make the playoffs and the way that this team looks like it's moving into the future, I think they're going to have to move off Peter Laviolette. And here's why. This is a snippet from an article on Twitter about how good some of the Washington Capitals young players are playing right now because of their new coach, Spencer Carberry. And he goes on, a couple seasons ago, Laviolette, when he was coach of the Washington Capitals, Connor McMichael, they refused to play him. He sent him back down to Hershey because we know this at this point. Peter Laviolette is a coach that is better fit for guys who are not only in their prime, but probably older players and guys who are ready to win the Stanley Cup. That is no longer, at least, the direction that this team is going. So I do wonder if they take a look at letting Peter Laviolette go this season, because it is simply not working, and you can see it on the ice. And I mean, Lafreniere has gone completely ghost mode, and I mean, he has at times throughout his career. I wonder if it has something to do with the coach. He's still a very young player in this league. Jacob Trouba has more goals than Alexis Lafreniere since February 5th. Absolute disaster, man. Not a good situation at all for the Rangers. And when you look at everything that's been happening, we'll get into the defensive woes as well. Right now your fourth line is probably your best line. The third line is not far behind it. Where are the top two lines? Where are the guys that make the most money? And where are your young players, right? They're either not playing, they're up in the press box like Brett Berard again, even though he's been playing well. Can't understand it. I don't understand it. Guys like that should be in the lineup because they can actually make a difference. We'll get to that in a second. Vincent Trocheck hasn't been doing well. This is again from Snark Messier. Hasn't been great. He's fallen off a little bit as well. Lafreniere, like I mentioned, it hasn't been good. And I thought that this from Peter Baugh in the New York Times, just a small snippet of it, was very interesting. And we all kind of knew it was coming to this, but now it's here. We can see it in real time. And the reason, the Rangers took flyers on players like Artur Kaliev and Parsonen was because they've shown promise in the league. But you need somebody to be able to mentor them, to help them along, to develop them. This organization, not just the coach, cannot do that. We know that they aren't able to do that. So instead of just trading for older players all the time, let's fix that problem. Let's get some development coaches in here and work with these younger players so they can develop into good players for this team. And on top of all of that, the development staff not being up to par with some other teams across the league, Peter Laviolette is just not a coach who can coach young players. At this point, we've seen it. These guys' games, Artur Kaliev, Parsonen, they're incomplete games. You need a coach to be able to work with them on that. Development coaches to be able to work with them on that as a organization. You cannot continue to trade for your talent or sign it in free agency. It's just not going to work out well. Now, we got to some quotes a couple days ago about the defensive woes, and we're going to get into some more quotes in a second from Peter Laviolette. And a lot of the players last game were saying, I don't think there's a problem with the defensive structure. And I keep bringing it up in every video, screenshot from that game, right? What is this that you're looking at on your screen right now? What defensive structure is this? This looks like 5 guys who are lost, who are looking for something. Maybe a treasure. X marks the spot. What are you looking for? Because there's 2 Jets, one of them, by the way, wide open, even though there's 5 of you there. How does that make any sense? What defensive structure is this? Or a better question, when you say, Vincent Trocheck, Peter Laviolette, that there's no problem with the defensive structure, what do you mean? Because we are watching different games. That's all I'm saying at that point. Let's get into some quotes from Peter Laviolette. He said this after the loss last night against the Winnipeg Jets. I thought we had looks. I thought we had zone time. They blocked some shots as well. That didn't get through. We had looks. I think we hit the post 3 times. There was enough there. We just didn't walk away with anything. Now, to stop right there, I mean, listen, every team hits post. You got to put the puck in the back of the net. It was a 2-1 game. And now he goes on to say, that goes back to the frustrating part. Defensively, we held them down, held their attempts down, zone time down, did a pretty good job with regard to that. Just not able to get the run support that we need to win. So now the offense is drying up on top of everything that we've been talking about the last little while. You need to be able to score goals, especially with the offensive power that this team is supposed to have. And when you're talking about defense, the most frustrating part in that game against the Winnipeg Jets is that you did clamp them down pretty well defensively, and you did probably enough if you were to score 3 or 4 goals. So you have to start scoring. This is from Will Borgen. A lot better. Last game's breakdowns were just a little more. I think we cleaned that up a bit today. We just got to generate a little more offensively, which they did. They held them to do 2 goals. It was better than the last game, 7 goals, and the last little while. And if you go on to Braden Schneider, who they also interviewed, this is from Molly Walker too, I should mention that. To be quite honest, we got to keep playing how we played this game. In particular, I thought we played a really hard game. I thought we generated a lot. We just got to make sure we're not giving up those chances. That Shesterkin and obviously Quick don't have a chance to save, which I think they did a better job in that last night against the Winnipeg Jets. But at the same time, look at the screenshot. This is absurd. Nobody's taking the body, and you have all 5 players back. Who's covering? What if this puck goes back, kick back to the point, which I've been talking about as well? Who's covering the point? They all look lost. And on top of it, this is supposedly your top line. I know Kreider's there as well, but this is supposed to be your top line or one of your top lines. So not great. And now the offense is drying up against, I know the Winnipeg Jets are a good team, right? But you have to start winning games. We talked about a little while ago that they had to go 20-9 to make the playoffs. Well, they're using up a lot of the losses to get to that 9 very quickly. They're going to have to win almost 20 games in a row here if they're going to make the playoffs. So things are getting real crazy, real fast for this team, and they're not going to have a lot of time to catch up. Last thing we'll get into, this again is from Vince Mercogliano. This happened repeatedly this season, which has contributed to some of the NHL's worst defensive metrics. But guys, from everything we've heard from the players and the coach, there's no problem with the defensive structure. The Rangers allow, and I think the goaltending has been a little bit worse this year statistically because of the defense. I've been saying that on the channel the whole time. But the Rangers allow an average of 12.82 high danger scoring chances per 60 minutes per game. They allow 12 high danger scoring chances at even strength. This is not even on special teams. According to Natural Stat Trick, that is from Natural Stat Trick, which ranked second to last in the league entering Tuesday's game against the Winnipeg Jets. And I would imagine, I know the Jets only scored 2 goals, that number would have rose a little bit at that point. So anytime that you're second to last in the league in any category, you're not going to find success. So something strange is going on. I mean, something's got to give at some point with Peter Laviolette. I don't know if he's going to get fired this year, but with the way the team is going and the fact that they want to get younger, and that is the direction that you probably should go in, I'm not sure if that is the coach to usher in that new kind of era of Rangers hockey. So let me know what you think in the comments, but by all metrics and everything they've been saying, I mean, yes, they cleaned it up to a degree last night. They didn't score. They didn't get the offensive scoring that they needed, but they've been saying that there's no defensive structural problems, which I don't think is true. And I think the goaltending has been suffering because of that as well. But let me know what you think in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.